Do you ever feel like your emotions are just a runaway train? A careless word from a stranger can completely derail your morning. Or maybe an unexpected email sends you spiraling into anxiety for hours. If you feel like the whole world is constantly pulling your strings, then it's time we talk about how to cut them.
Man, that one hits hard, doesn't it? Because it's so often true. We walk through life with our emotional gates just flung wide open, reacting instantly to absolutely everything that gets thrown at us. A surge of anger here, a wave of panic there. It's exhausting. And honestly, it leaves us completely vulnerable.
But here's the good news. There is another way. There's a path to reclaiming control over your internal state, to building an inner resilience that the chaos of the outside world just can't shake so easily.
Okay, so first things first, we need to understand the battlefield we're on. Because in a lot of ways, modern society, from the media we consume to the marketing we see, it actually profits from our emotional reactivity. The system's kind of designed to keep us hooked.
So on one side, you've got the reactive mind. It's volatile, it's impulsive, and it's so easily hijacked. Media headlines, social media algorithms, even toxic people, they all feed on this volatility. Why? Because a mind that can't regulate its own weather is a mind that's easily controlled. But on the other side, you have this stoic mind, sovereign, calm, rooted in its own peace. And that is our goal.
And the path to that stoic mind? It's not some dusty ancient philosophy that's just for academics. No way. It's an active, powerful rebellion against all that external control. It's about taking back the remote control to your own mind.
And let's be really clear about this. We are not aiming to become cold, unfeeling stones. This is a master class in emotional command. It's about learning to feel everything deeply, but without ever letting those feelings grab the steering wheel. It's about becoming, well, emotionally untouchable.
So, how do we build this inner fortress? Well, the Stoics engineered a set of really powerful mental tools. I want you to think of them as 9 layers of emotional armor. When you practice them daily, they can literally rewire your emotional architecture. We're going to break them down into 3 groups. First, the tools for defense, then the tools for reframing, and finally, tools for building some deep inner strength.
You know what our greatest vulnerability is? Our reaction time. That tiny, microscopic gap between a stimulus and our response, that's where the hijack happens. This first habit is all about deliberately stretching that gap. So when an insult lands, you don't fire back. You freeze. You take a breath. This pause, it isn't weakness, it's the ultimate display of psychological dominance. You literally sever the world's ability to puppet your behavior.
Most of our emotional pain isn't actually caused by the event itself. Nope, it's caused by the story our ego attaches to it. We take these neutral facts and we poison them with our own personal insecurities. The Stoic mind learns to separate the two.
Just look at the difference here. The ego screams, "This rejection means I'm unworthy." But what's the objective reality? Simply, an event has occurred. A stoic mind acts like a clean mirror. It reflects reality without distorting it with all the dramatic stories our ego loves to tell us. The universe isn't conspiring against you, it's just unfolding.
Make no mistake about this. Emotions are infectious. They're contagious. If you surround yourself with negativity, anxiety, and bitterness, that psychological state is going to bleed into your own. It's inevitable. You can't maintain a calm mind if you leave your doors wide open to toxic emotional smugglers.
You have to become a ruthless auditor of your environment. Seriously, when someone tries to drag you into gossip, you elegantly change the subject. When a coworker starts spiraling into complaining, you politely excuse yourself. You have to guard your mental bandwidth with the same ferocity you'd guard your bank account. And this isn't about being rude, it's about being the sworn protector of your own peace.
What is frustration, really? It's just the collision between our rigid expectations and an unpredictable reality. We expect things to be fair, we expect our plans to work out, we expect traffic to flow smoothly. And when reality shatters that script, we crash. The solution? Radical acceptance. Wake up in the morning and consciously remind yourself, the world is chaotic. This isn't being pessimistic, it's a strategic embrace of reality that neutralizes frustration before it can even start.
Modern culture tells us to run away from our negative emotions, right? Numb the sadness, distract ourselves from the anger. But a stoic sees things differently. All emotion, even the darkest kinds, is just raw, unrefined energy. Anger, grief, frustration, these are incredibly potent fuels.
So how do you do this?
Well, the process is a kind of emotional alchemy. First, you don't suppress the emotion. You feel its raw heat completely. But then, and this is the key, you consciously redirect it. You use the sting of rejection to fuel your next venture. You use the fire of anger to power through a workout. You literally alchemize pain into progress, turning every attempt to break you into raw material for your own strength.
Think about it. How much of your life is spent suffocating under the weight of tragedies that never actually happen? We panic over conversations that haven't occurred yet, and we agonize over losing jobs we still have. The Stoic warrior anchors their mind, sometimes violently, to the present moment.
This right here is the key. Anxiety is fighting imaginary wars with ghosts. It's that simple. When you feel that spiral begin, you have to brutally pull your awareness back to the now. Ask yourself, is there an actual, tangible threat to me in this exact millisecond? The answer is almost always no. Your mind is a battlefield. Don't let the enemy be an imaginary one.
As long as your emotional stability relies on the applause of others, it's always going to be fragile. Think about it. If a compliment can make your day, then an insult has the power to ruin it. The goal is to delist yourself from this public exchange. Measure your worth against your own standard of character. Did you act with integrity today? If the answer is yes, then your day was a success, regardless of who noticed.
We are terrified of sitting alone with our thoughts, aren't we? The moment boredom or sadness hits, we reach for a distraction, our phone, TV, anything. But if you're always running from your internal shadows, they will always be chasing you. So dedicate some time each day to just sit in complete silence. Just 5 minutes. No phone, no music. Face your thoughts, your fears, your insecurities. By facing them quietly, you drain them of their power.
You know, in the heat of a frustrating moment, a problem can feel absolutely monumental. A delayed flight or a rude comment can feel like the most important thing in the universe. The ultimate tool for emotional control is to radically zoom out.
When you hold your daily frustrations up against the huge, sweeping scale of your entire lifespan, they just shrink into insignificance. Will this argument matter in a year? Will you even remember this inconvenience in 10 years? On your deathbed, was this really worth your precious energy? This cosmic perspective helps you save that energy for the things that truly matter.
All right, we've laid out the 9 habits. The blueprint is now officially in your hands. But you have to remember, this isn't a gift, it's a practice.
Emotional control is a grueling, beautiful daily practice of choosing discipline over your default settings. You have to actively choose the pause. You have to actively redirect the anger. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but on the other side of that discomfort is a level of psychological freedom that most people will just never experience.
You have the tools. You have the blueprint. So the only question that remains is this. Will you lay the first brick? The power to build your fortress is yours, and the choice to start, well, that's yours to make.